Hello and welcome to another episode of Living in Tucson, your Tucson Real Estate Connection. And it's that time of the month. The numbers are out for the Tucson Housing Market Report for June 2024. I'm going to dive on into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market. Hello, my name's Tyler Ford, eXp Realty here with Tucson, Arizona. And if you're a buyer or seller, somebody that might be sitting on the fence wondering what's going on here in the Tucson housing market, this video is for you. I'm going to cover some key numbers to help you make an educated decision based on whether you're buying, selling, maybe a combination of both, or maybe just decide to sit on the sidelines. So let's dive on into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market. Before I go over the Tucson housing market numbers, I want to cover a big change that's going to be happening in real estate across the country. And a lot of people have been following it. You may have not. So I'm going to give you a little bit about what's going on. There's a lot to it. So I'm going to try to keep it simple just to give you a heads up on what's going on. But from what we've been told, it's going to take place on August 17th of 2024 in terms of the change. But long and short of it, there was a big civil lawsuit. Some sellers got together and sued based on what we call the co-op compensation. And that is when somebody's selling a home in the MLS, it lists the co-op, what the buyer's agent will be compensated for bringing a buyer to the table. Well, long and short of it, that co-op compensation that's going to be listed in the MLS is going to go away. So there's no longer going to be a co-op compensation. And a lot of the forms are going to be changing. And sellers now, in the past, in order to list in the MLS, you had to put in a co-op compensation. And so now, as a result of that, sellers may or may not pay a co-op compensation to the buyer's agent. So what that means is if you're a buyer out there, you're going to have to sign what is called a buyer-broker agreement. And in the past, that buyer-broker agreement existed, but it wasn't mandatory. So now, in order for a buyer's agent to represent a buyer and show them homes and let them into a home, that buyer-broker agreement has to be signed. A buyer's agent cannot let a buyer into a home without that sign, and if they do, they can be fined. So as a result, that buyer-broker agreement specifies how the buyer, if the seller's not willing to pay a co-op, then the buyer would be on the hook, may or may not, based on the buyer-broker agreement that a buyer signs. So it's going to have a big impact because there's a lot of buyers out there right now that are struggling enough just to get the down payment together. And if a seller's not willing to pay the co-op, then that buyer would need to pay the buyer's agent, based on the buyer-broker agreement, a commission. But if they don't have it, then it could prevent them from buying that home because then they're not competitive. So that's the long and short of it. You can do your own research, but come August, there's going to be some major changes, specifically more geared towards the buyers out there that could be on the hook for commissions if that's something that they agree to in the buyer-broker agreement. Before I dive into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market, I first like to cover mortgage rates to keep you up to date on what's going on with mortgage interest rates. And as I've been saying, due to being an election year and the last 6 months going into the election, I think rates are going to go sideways, and that's exactly what they're doing. At some point, the feds probably will lower rates. As of right now, rates are going sideways. So the good news is we're slightly below 7% on a 30-year fixed, and rates have been going sideways. So right now, on a 30-year fixed, we are sitting at 6.95%, and on a 15-year fixed, we are sitting at 6.25%. So that's what's going on with mortgage interest rates. First number I want to cover is what we call percentage of list. And that is when a seller lists a home in the MLS, what percentage of the list price is a seller getting. And when COVID hit, percentage of list was well above 100%. The good news for buyers out there, percentage of list is now below 100%, which is a good thing for buyers out there because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to negotiate and also seller concessions. So right now in the MLS for June 2024, percentage of list was 98.73%. So if a seller's listing their home correctly, they're going to get slightly below the list price. The next thing I'm going to cover is what we call days on market, or DOM for short. And that is when somebody lists a home in the MLS, how long does it take from the time that a seller lists until the property goes under contract? Not from the time that you list until it actually closes. This is called days on market. And just a side note here, if you're a buyer or a seller, when you're pulling the comps, it's important to take a look at days on market, because if you're a buyer out there and you're looking at a property and you're getting ready to make an offer, take a look at days on market, because if it's exceeding it drastically, it typically means the property's overpriced. And if you're a seller out there and you're starting to get anxious because your property's not selling, take a look at days on market, because if you're starting to exceed that, again, it typically means that your property could potentially be overpriced. So days on market for single family homes listed in the MLS for June 2024 was 16 days. For townhomes and condos, days on market was 15 days. The number you've been waiting for, what are home sales prices doing here in Tucson, Arizona? I'm going to go over the median home sales price. And if you watched my video last month, I made a prediction that the median home sales price for single family homes would not exceed $400,000 for 2024. And I got a lot of people's opinions, and a lot of people were saying that they thought it would. But I still don't think that the median home sales price will exceed $400,000 in 2024. So what are your thoughts? Comment below. So the median home sales price for single family homes listed in the MLS for June 2024 was $380,000, up year over year 1.3%. So we're going pretty much sideways and flat. But last month, the median home sales price was $392,500. So we're down month over month, $12,500. And as we head into the summer months, our market typically does slow down mid-June all the way through mid-September. So it's normal for our Tucson housing market to kind of go flat and sideways during the summer months. For townhomes and condos, the median home sales price for June 2024 was $265,000 year over year, 0% change. So that market is pretty much flat. So my guess is between now and the end of the year, with an election coming up, this market and interest rates, the market's going to go sideways and flat. And again, I don't think that we're going to exceed $400,000 for the median home sales price for single family homes for this year. What are your thoughts? Comment below. The next one I'm going to cover is what we call average dollar per square foot. And this is a very useful number for both buyers and sellers. When a seller goes to list a home, typically the agent will pull comps, a CMA, a comparative market analysis. And the same thing applies for buyers out there. When looking at homes, you're going to look at comps. And on the comps, you're going to see active, pending, and sold. You really want to pay attention to the sold comps. And on there, you're going to get an average dollar per square foot for the type of property that you're looking at, whether it's a townhome, condo, single family home in a certain area, certain size, pool. So you can run comps, getting very, very specific in terms of comps that are very similar to your home. So when you're looking at those comps and you're looking at listing, you want to pay attention to that. And the same thing for buyers out there, when you're writing an offer, you want to take a look at average dollar per square foot. So right now, the average dollar per square foot for all single family homes listed in the MLS for June 2024 was $238 a square foot. And again, this is just for single family homes, just to kind of give you an idea. But again, you can get really, really specific based on the subdivision, based on the square footage, based on bedrooms, baths, pools. So when running comps, you can really dial it in and get a really good idea in terms of what the other homes have sold for, to be able to list your home properly and or write an offer that is a fair market offer. My favorite number, home inventory economics 101, supply and demand. And I know a lot of people are thinking this market's going to pull back and correct, and people are wanting that. But the big reason, although this market is definitely slowed down, the big reason that home values are holding strong has everything to do with supply. Inventory levels are still relatively low. And as a result, home values are holding strong. So in order for us to get a big pullback in terms of home values in this market and prices, home inventory levels, in my opinion, would need to more than double. So right now in the MLS, for all properties listed for Tucson, there are a total of 2,105 properties listed in the MLS. And to break it all down, there are 1,649 single-family homes, 146 townhomes, 93 manufactured homes, 180 condos, and then mobile homes, there are 37, just to give you a breakdown in terms of each specific type of property. But again, this is a number that I look at daily, and we are starting to creep up. So there are a lot more options out there for buyers. But again, home inventory levels, in my opinion, would need to more than double before we saw a significant pullback in price. This next number I'm going to cover is one that I had not been covering in the past, but I'm going to start to cover it because our association switched over to a new vendor and they're now providing us with price drops. And a lot of people were asking about this number, but we just didn't have access to it. But now we do. So I'm going to go over price reductions in the MLS. And some of these numbers might surprise you. For active listings right now in the MLS, 41% of all listings in the MLS have done a price reduction. And that price reduction that they've done is 6.2%. So in June of 2024, the average price reduction was 5.1%, and 33% of all listings sold did a price reduction. So we're starting to see more and more price reduction, and that number's starting to go up. Sellers are hanging on to the top end of this market, and buyers are no longer chasing the top end of this market. And it's the days of the California sucker fishes that I call them, where they had cash, they were coming to Tucson, and they were willing to pay whatever, are long gone. So again, the price reduction numbers are very revealing in terms of if you go in as a seller and you list your price for too much and it sits on the market, people then begin to wonder what's wrong with this home, and then you're doing price reductions. So the right strategy for sellers out there is to price your home right, and as a result, you're going to get more buyers coming and looking, and as a result, you could then get more money for your property. But overpricing your home is the detriment to any listing, because it will sit and you will end up starting to have to do price reductions. And when you start doing that, the perception of the buyer is, let's make an offer to try to get a deal. So again, if I can give you any advice as a seller out there, it's best to price your home correctly, look at the comps, and price your home correctly, and as a result, you'll get more money for your home. Well, that's a wrap for my Tucson Housing Market Report for June 2024. But to wrap it up, I just want to go over one thing. In my opinion, right now, the housing market is broken. And I'm going to clarify what I mean by that. So unit sales are way down. We're down by 50%. And that is the number of homes that are sold each and every month. We're down by about 50%. And right now for June 2024, there were 794 sales. And on an average in Tucson, we're anywhere from maybe 1,000 to 1,500. And as a result of COVID, unit sales have dramatically dropped. And in my opinion, I don't think that's going to come back for some time. And that's why I think the housing market right now is broken. And the reason for this is, if you think about it, somebody that's a first-time home buyer, somebody that's newly married, or maybe their first job, they typically buy their first home. And then life happens, kids, marriage, change in job where they're getting more money, and then they do the move up in house. They sell that first home and then they move up. Well, the move up portion of the housing market right now is broken because people can't afford to do the move up, so they're deciding to stay put. And it has everything to do with inflation, the cost of housing, interest rates, And so as a result, inventory levels are going to stay low, which is going to maintain home prices. And so something's got to give here. But right now, as a result of everything that's gone on since COVID, the housing market is broke just based on the number of units per month that are sold. And in my opinion, I think this could go on for some time, maybe 5 years. So the market that we know right now is going to be this way for some time until something gives, whether rates come down or something dramatic happens and we get a big reduction in home prices so people can get back into the market and afford and do that move up. So we get another sale, somebody sells their home down the road. But right now, people are staying put and we're just not getting that inventory coming back onto the market. Hey, thanks for watching my monthly Tucson Housing Market report. If you did get value out of it, do me a huge favor. Give me an internet high five by liking the video. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. And for more awesome videos for Tucson real estate market, you can subscribe to the channel. And if you hit that bell button, each and every time a video comes out, you're going to be notified. And right here at the end, YouTube's going to serve up another video that you might find of value. In the meantime, make it a great day.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why you need a local Tucson expert real estate partner. With all the exciting reasons you have for buying a home, one of the biggest reasons is it can dramatically increase your family's wealth. So whether you're looking to purchase your first home, your next home, a second home, an investment property, or maybe you want to sell your home, choosing an experienced real estate expert to help you will make it a smooth and easy process. And choosing the right realtor can make the difference of more money in your pocket after closing. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, or maybe just interested in knowing what your home's worth, contact Tyler Ford and team today. Call Tyler Ford and team today at 520-775-3400. That's 520-775-3400.